Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on 10 games in Fanatical's Platinum Collection of October 2023 to help you in picking your 7 games. By using the link provided in the description below, not only will you gain access to this bundle, but you also have the opportunity to support this channel. Your support would mean the world to me, and I genuinely appreciate it. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have Tinykin, a charming 3D platformer with a Pikmin-inspired concept. You play as Milo Dane, a researcher from a future where humanity's origins are forgotten. After a teleportation experiment gone wrong, Milo is shrunken and finds himself in an abandoned 90s-era home, inhabited by an insect society and the Tinykin, a race of gremlins that respond to Milo's commands. Your goal is to gather components to repair a machine and return home. While Tinykin shares similarities with Pikmin, it differentiates itself as a more laid-back 3D platformer, akin to Banjo-Kazooie. The game lacks the strategic depth of Pikmin, as managing the Tinykin doesn't involve complex decision-making. You gather them to overcome obstacles, but there's no risk of losing them. The focus is on exploring the world, rather than intricate minion management. Milo's movement is fluid and satisfying, and the platforming is a delight due to its responsive controls. The house, where the game unfolds, is the star, offering imaginative environments built from household objects rearranged for the insect-sized world. The visual details in each room add to the game's charm. The collectibles and lore objects are less compelling than the world itself, but the joy of exploration makes up for it. The game's story and humor might not be a strong suit, but it captures the childlike delight of navigating a giant world. Tinykin is a joyful and laid-back platformer that provides around 6 hours of fun in a vibrant miniature universe. It's a delightful experience, even if its minion management mechanics are somewhat shallow. At number 2 we have Dead Estate, a game akin but different from typical roguelike games. At the completion of each run you can unlock new characters, but won't unlock any upgrades. You can't build the ultimate character by grinding and dying over and over. This game forces you to get good, so you start out with a gun and pick up other guns, but only one at a time, and they all have an ammo pool. Basically, Dead Estate is an unforgiving and difficult game that will have you throw your keyboard at your computer screen, but later finding yourself coming back to it because the game has that effect. You move from floor to floor in a randomly generated map, killing enemies and collecting upgrades that only affect your current run. This game gives you a false sense of security with its cutesy art style, and even lets you leave if you can't clear a room. But if you stay too long, a stalker named Chunk spawns in and he will hunt you down endlessly unless you enter a shop room or the boss room. Dead Estate expects you to do well and get good or die trying every run, whether it be your first run or your last. Repella Fella, a point-and-click choose-your-adventure game that fully embraces its Australian identity. It's a spiritual successor to the Flash series, Ray, and offers a unique and acquired taste in gaming. The game's narrative begins in the 1960s, with a war veteran turned past exterminator called to handle a pig problem amidst sirens signaling chaos. He accidentally activates a survival capsule, waking up underwater 15 years later to a snow-covered Australia, occupied by Russian and American forces. You'll follow the story through 3 different characters. The gameplay revolves around exploration, puzzle solving, decision making, and interacting with characters and items. The game's choice-driven system influences the outcome of the narrative, and you'll be making decisions throughout the game, some of which are locked behind specific conditions. The violent choices add an extra layer of entertainment to the gameplay. Repella Fella encourages multiple playthroughs, with each playthrough taking around 6 to 10 hours. There's no punishment for choosing the wrong option. The game simply lets you try again. However, the ending leaves players hanging with a cliffhanger, which may not sit well with some players. The game's humor, filled with Australian slang and lingo, may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it adds a distinct flavour to the game. The voice acting complements the writing well. Visually, the game features an adult cartoon art style, similar to South Park, depicting a post-apocalyptic Australia with creativity and detail. However, some characters can look similar, making it occasionally hard to distinguish between them. In conclusion, Repella Fella is a unique, authentically Australian adventure that will either resonate with players or leave them bewildered. The game's humor, storytelling, and art style make it a standout experience, even though its ending may leave you wanting more. If you appreciate this vibe, you'll find an enjoyable, humorous game worth exploring. At number 3 we have Nitro Kid, an electrifying mix of synthwave aesthetics, martial arts, deck-building mechanics, pixel art visuals, roguelike gameplay, and immersive cyberpunk themes. With over 250 cards, you'll battle over 50 unique foes, face over 50 events, and attempt to conquer the tower's 3 challenging stages, all set to a thrilling synthwave soundtrack. As an agent, your mission is to infiltrate the mysterious Infinity Tower, engage in turn-based card combat, reminiscent of fights in tight spaces. Battles require technical prowess, with durations ranging from 2 to 6 turns based on your progress and chosen difficulty level. Nitro Kid stands out with its captivating synthwave aesthetics, immersing players in a unique cyberpunk atmosphere. The game excels in providing a diverse array of adversaries, including robots and cybernetically enhanced foes. The addictive nature of the game will keep you coming back for more. In addition to combat, Nitro Kid introduces random events, simulating the challenges of infiltrating a cyberpunk mega-corporate tower. Players must make choices with diverse outcomes, offering rewards like cards, money, or valuable boosts. While Nitro Kid thrives in gameplay and style, it falls short in its narrative department. The game's storyline is somewhat lacking, leaving players detached from their characters' actions. Furthermore, the presentation and user interface can be more engaging to enhance the storyline and choices. Nitro Kid is a visually stunning deck builder game that encapsulates the essence of synthwave cyberpunk. Its captivating gameplay and impressive soundtrack make it a worthwhile gaming experience. Although a more elaborate narrative would be welcome, this minor shortcoming doesn't significantly diminish the overall appeal. If you're a fan of synthwave and cyberpunk, Nitro Kid offers an enthralling and stylish gaming adventure. And number 4 we have Wytchwood, a dark fairy tale to-do list game that immerses you in its whimsical world and captivating gameplay. As a witch, you embark on a crafting RPG adventure filled with enchanting tasks. This game cleverly combines the concept of to-do lists with a captivating storyline. Unlike your real-life to-do lists, which probably don't involve capturing elves and stealing their shoes, Wytchwood presents you with a delightful array of objectives. Playing as an adorable crone, you receive instructions from a goat resembling Black Phillip, who resides outside your swamp cottage. Your mission is to collect wayward souls owed to the goat. However, each soul happens to be a terrible person, which adds a touch of darkness to the fairy tale setting. The game revolves around completing various tasks to obtain ingredients for crafting traps, monsters, and other items requested by pixies and unicorns. By gathering these components, you gradually progress towards your ultimate goal of stealing an evil soul. Wytchwood's gameplay may sound intricate, involving a cascade of interconnected objectives, but it is this complexity that makes the game all the more engaging and rewarding. While some challenges may arise during your gameplay, the true difficulty lies in an intricacy of crafting recipes. As you progress, the recipes become more elaborate, often requiring multiple steps and ingredients. There may be moments of frustration when confronted with complex item requirements, but the satisfaction of overcoming these obstacles and mastering the crafting process is akin to the gratification found in games like Dark Souls, albeit in a more pleasant manner. Despite its dark undertones, Wytchwood maintains a fairy tale ambiance. The game delves into morally questionable situations, such as collecting souls for Satan, but approaches them with a whimsical twist. Just like the unsettling aspects of classic tales like Little Red Riding Hood, the game's darkness is tinged with a touch of fantasy. Ultimately, Wytchwood captures the essence of a lovingly crafted experience, offering a delightful blend of creativity and enjoyment. It's akin to opening a hand-drawn pop-up book and discovering an amusing little hag inside, engaging in whimsical adventures that you won't be able to resist adding to your to-do list. And number 5 we have The Evil Within 2, a psychological action horror game that is determined to terrify players beyond jump scares. The game revels in its grotesqueness, featuring scenes of burning to death, exploding heads, and force feeding. While there are the occasional cheap frights from the game's zombie natives, The Evil Within 2 offers a far more ambitious game than the 2014 original, with its torture antagonists, open-world elements, and manifestations of guilt-driven grief. The game drops protagonist Sebastian Castellanos into a simulated world of Union, which is a corrupted, monster-ridden town thought to contain his presumed dead daughter, Lily. The open-world structure presents a more thoughtful approach to progression, and the game's new cover system enhances the stealth elements. Variety in means of attack is important, as the environment can often be manipulated to suit the player's circumstances. The game offers a new crafting system that lets you turn your plundered treasures into bullets, crossbow bolts, and health items, among other things. The narrative tells a similar tale of anguish, where Castellanos has been duped by the faceless Mobius Corporation. The game features unpredictable foes in the form of mentally unhinged art lover Stefano Valentini and power-mad cultist Father Theodore Wallace, who will both keep you on your toes in the story and in battle. If you're into a game with a good blend of horror, action, and story, this game is definitely one to play. And number 6 we have PlateUp, a thrilling co-op roguelike cooking game that brings a refreshing twist to the genre. This game offers a unique blend of chaotic cooking and restaurant management, making it an enticing option for players who relish challenges beyond what games like Overcooked offer. The gameplay in PlateUp combines the frenzy of cooking and serving with deep customization options. You can play solo, locally with friends, online, or even remotely, making it accessible to everyone. The 2-button control system simplifies the main actions, and playing with friends creates the most chaotic yet enjoyable experience. Starting in your main lobby, you can customize your character, restaurant layout, and menu. Team coordination becomes crucial as you strive to satisfy every customer during the day cycle. Missing an order or upsetting a customer can set you back to day 1, adding intensity to the gameplay. The game's procedural generation ensures each session feels unique. You earn gold coins and upgrades after each successful day, allowing you to customize your restaurant further. The ability to move furniture around adds a fun element to the game, fostering communication and creativity among players. PlateUp excels in longevity, enticing players to keep coming back with its ever-changing content and challenging learning curve. The blend of real-time cooking action and management provides a satisfying gameplay experience. In terms of graphics and audio, PlateUp features colorful, cartoony visuals and a cheerful soundtrack that contrasts with its hectic gameplay, creating an engaging atmosphere. Overall, PlateUp surpasses expectations by offering a deep and entertaining cooking and management experience. It's a must-play, especially with friends, as it keeps you coming back for more, making it a fantastic addition to the co-op gaming scene. At number 7 we have Fallout 4, a post-apocalyptic sandbox RPG. In the game, you play as a vault dweller, exploring a world devastated by nuclear war. The game offers a highly customizable experience with intricate systems that allow you to tailor your gameplay to your liking. The main storyline revolves around your character's search for their kidnapped son in the Commonwealth, a condensed version of Massachusetts. The story is considered one of Bethesda's best, tying in closely with side plots and factions. However, the ending is abrupt and can leave players feeling unsatisfied. Fallout 4 features a large and detailed world set in Boston, offering a mix of familiar locations and new areas. The graphics, while improved from previous Bethesda games, still shows the limitations of the aging creation engine. The game's atmosphere strikes a balance between brutality and lightheartedness, with a sense of discovery and mystery driving exploration. The addition of voiced protagonists enhances immersion, and the companions are more than just a pack of mules, providing depth to the world and story. The new settlement system allows players to construct and customize settlements using resources collected from the environment. While it can be gratifying to see a settlement thrive, the workshop interface can be fiddly, and managing resources between settlements can be cumbersome. Gun customization is a notable feature, allowing players to modify their weapons with various attachments. The shooting mechanics are enjoyable, making combat a highlight of the game. The scarcity of ammo encourages experimentation and adds to the tension. Despite some flaws, Fallout 4 offers a vast and engaging post-apocalyptic world with a compelling main story, intriguing side quests, and immersive gameplay mechanics. At number 8 we have Pathologic 2, an open-world horror adventure game. You play as Artemi Burak, and your hometown is being destroyed in front of your eyes by a deadly and mysterious illness. You have 12 days to rid this plague from your town. This game combines brutal survival mechanics and surrealist narrative themes to create an uncompromising and opaque experience. You'll spend the first few in-game days just wandering around the town, either scavenging for food in trash cans or rundown buildings, or interacting with the local strangers, and believe me, they are strange. They even talk strange. At first, you're finding for the person responsible for your father's death. While going on your little adventure, you can't help but feel uneasy and how things are just not right. Then the sand plague strikes, throwing the town into utter chaos. Hundreds of people get infected at a time, and if left alone, your town will be decimated. You'll be thrown into many different directions at once, tending to the infected, creating tinctures, and seeking out information on the plague's origin while racing against the clock. You'll be making a ton of difficult decisions. Do you give away your last antibiotic for a much needed meal? Should you embrace superstition to fight against the plague? Should you cut somebody's infected kidneys in half to hopefully find a secret to the cure? This game will keep you busy, and with a time limit, you have to be quick and decisive. As the days go by, resources become scarcer, and it can be very frustrating, playing a character who is always starving and on the verge of collapse. But this bleak narrative is also what gives this game its personality. You'll most likely die along your journey looking for the cure, and the next time you come back, you play as a new Burak, and the game gets harder. You get tired faster and starve quicker. This game is atmospheric, frustrating, and absolutely haunting, with some very punishing mechanics, and it is definitely a gaming experience that you'll never forget. At number 9 we have The Dungeon of Naheulbeuk, a unique turn-based tactics game set in a zany D&D inspired world. Developed by Artifact Studio and published by Dear Villagers, the game stands out for its polished mechanics and unexpected difficulty, although its humor might be a hit or miss depending on your taste. The game's premise revolves around a fantasy-themed XCOM-like experience blended with the camaraderie of Baldur's Gate's party dynamics. Despite its lighthearted tone, it's not an RPG but a satire of the genre, targeting both tabletop and CRPG tropes. The gameplay mechanics are solid, yet familiar for genre enthusiasts, offering little innovation. The humor, on the other hand, is a defining feature that can determine your enjoyment. The game's extensive script draws from a French audio drama and comic series, resulting in incessant banter from the party of adventurers. While the voice acting is commendable, the humor's relentlessness can be divisive. The jokes vary, ranging from genuinely amusing to cliched gags, pop culture references, and occasional overuse of vulgar humor. While the dungeon's tone sets it apart, its tactical combat system and presentation shine. Melee combat takes precedence over ranged, with positioning and tactics playing pivotal roles. The game effectively presents vital information, enhancing decision making. However, its combat can sometimes feel tedious due to extensive party management and copious information. The lack of tension caused by a lack of permadeath can affect the stakes of your choices. Despite its quirks, the dungeon on Naheulbeuk boasts a challenging difficulty level, especially on default settings, offering a substantial experience that may not necessarily warrant repeated playthroughs. For enthusiasts of tactical games with a humorous twist, the game's quirky charm and well-crafted mechanics make it worth exploring. Just be prepared for its distinctive, offbeat style. At number 10 we have Frostpunk, a gripping city-building survival strategy game set in the frozen Arctic wasteland. As the ruler of a struggling city, you must manage resources, handle crises, and make tough decisions to ensure the survival of your citizens. The game combines city-building elements with society simulation and crisis management mechanics, creating a tense and challenging experience. In the desolate 1800s world of Frostpunk, your city relies on a massive coal furnace for warmth. You'll construct buildings, gather resources, and research new technologies to keep your citizens alive in the freezing conditions. Every decision matters, as discontent and hope levels significantly impact your city's well-being. You'll face moral dilemmas, like choosing between short-term fixes and long-term solutions, or passing laws that may have adverse consequences. Frostpunk excels at immersing players in the burden of leadership. The game constantly challenges your abilities as a leader, making you weigh the needs of your citizens against harsh realities. The society simulator aspect adds depth, with the option to rule with order and discipline, or faith and spirituality, each choice affecting the people's morale. Scouting the frozen world beyond your city brings new challenges and discoveries, but it also means more responsibilities and resources needed. The game's art design and style create a captivating and grim atmosphere, depicting the struggles of a frozen world. While Frostpunk offers great replayability with different scenarios and choices, the campaign itself lasts about 45 days. The game's bird's-eye view perspective, however, prevents players from connecting closely with individual citizens, which may be a drawback for some. Overall, Frostpunk is a compelling and addictive survival management game that forces players to confront difficult choices and challenges. Its extraordinary style, engrossing gameplay, and tense atmosphere make it a standout title in the city-building and strategy genre. And that's all for this bundle. This month's Platinum Collection is actually really good for some older AAA games. These games are still worth spending time playing through, especially The Evil Within 2, Fallout 4, The Dungeon of Naheulbeuk, and Frostpunk. If you're into some cooperative play, PlateUp is an awesome choice too. In any case, kindly show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to connecting with you in the upcoming video.